In 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the Between the Frames podcast. Today we have two of our friends here, and we've got Hayden, but we've got Walter.
Am I not one of your friends?
No.
Hey.
Just a colleague, mate.
Yeah, exactly right.
A colleague, an acquaintance.
This was literally
acquaintance is a bit generous. Colleague, let's keep it a colleague.
You really interrupted my introduction. This was my big moment, and you stole my fame again.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Hi guys, I'm Walter Mather.
And who are you?
I'm Kieren.
Kieren. We have just one. He's just got a first name.
Yeah.
Wait. If you guys had a nickname, what would your nicknames be? Walter, what would your nickname?
Like my personal nickname or our like duo nickname?
The nickname for the podcast. 3, 2, 1 now.
Gary.
Gary.
Dynamic visuals.
Dynamic Gary.
Yeah, I didn't get very far with that one. That was really under the pump.
Oh my God.
How did you guys come up with your name? Because the boys have a production company called Dynamic Visuals. How did you guys come up with that?
It was a bit of trial and error after we graduated high school. I think it was my mum who suggested the name Dynamic.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of backstory.
There is a bit of backstory.
Dynamic though.
Is it worth getting into?
Oh, definitely.
It's cute as.
It's cute.
Right.
It's wholesome and it's cute. So
Nice.
there's two reasons.
Let's hear it.
So in high school we won the award, like when you get all your year 12 awards, most dynamic duo.
Oh, really? You two?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we were the power couple of the school essentially.
It was literally just the camera nerds who spent all day in the art room though. That was it.
Yeah.
It actually was.
It actually was.
But I don't think that's actually how we thought of. I think after we thought of the name Dynamic Visuals, we were like, oh, that works quite well.
Yeah.
Dynamic duo.
And you've got a new company
We do,
called
yeah.
ShareGear.
ShareGear, which was a much easier name to think of. It was pretty much straight to the chase.
It very much speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself, yeah. You can imagine. We got equipment and we're willing to share.
Nice.
Share equipment.
Yeah.
Do we have like topics and stuff that you've got ready?
I was just going to, I'm interested in because I know, what?
No, I thought that you would have a topic or something.
No, I got some questions. I don't have
No.
topics.
That's good. That's good.
First podcast, what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's good.
No, what I was going to say is because I know you guys, you have the production company and everything, but what made you start ShareGear? Why ShareGear?
Yeah, you want to take this one or me? I don't know.
Yeah. I'll start it off. I think you can interrupt me when I definitely miss a few things. For me personally, and I know Kieren is very much the same. We love equipment. We love camera equipment. We love the tech that goes into all these cameras. Even the Turk that goes into high-end tripods, microphones, all of it. I just absolutely love the tech.
Yep.
Love everything to do about it. And I think we were always running around with cameras, making short films. We started Dynamic Visuals. We got to upgrade our cameras to newer tech.
Yeah.
And we kind of realized we've got all this really dope camera equipment. We should just double down, buy more, get to play with more cool tech, and then rent it out.
Yeah. It was always, because we're always making movies in high school for more than 10 years now, but we didn't realize until really after that our passion really was a lot in the technology itself and in the equipment. When we were doing YouTube in high school, pretty much every month check, it would be I remember we made $300 one month, and that was the Rode NTG2, and then the next one we got another GH4. So it was always
Nice.
We were always wanting to shoot our videos with the next best gear, which isn't always a good mindset to have, but for us we were just really invested in the technology, and we're just passionate about lenses and cameras pretty much.
That's awesome.
Just to give you a little bit of an idea of how passionate we were from a young age. I remember sitting in school and would be in English class. It was one of the classes that Kieren and I had together. Yeah. And we would spend every single lesson, the entire lesson, just on B&H. Yeah. Just looking at the newest releases, reading spec sheets.
Yeah.
Really? You guys love equipment that much?
Yeah.
Just
as we can credit as much as our knowledge about making movies to YouTube tutorials, as I'm sure you guys can.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We can credit bnh.com just to our knowledge about zoom, aperture, Cineverse, digital.
Did you go to YouTube, the YouTube channel of B&H, and get tutorials and stuff from them as well? Or
I honestly never made it that far because you watch a video and it takes 10 minutes to learn about a single piece. I'm just I'm control clicking just tabs on B&H,
Oh,
reading like
pretty much.
hundreds of pages a day.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I've never met anyone that's like that in my
Yeah,
whole life.
Honestly, such a miracle I even passed English.
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a miracle.
Yeah, how did you guys pass English? if you
Because
were-
we got so much like English like language through B&H because
Yeah.
we were on that many different camera pages.
yeah, so you learned through the website.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
right,
And now
yeah.
what? Would you say your best camera that you guys have now is the Ari?
Currently, yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah.
The Ari Alexa
the
Mini.
best or the most expensive? What's your favorite camera out of all of them?
My favorite camera is the Sony NEX VG20,
What?
which was the first camera that I sort of definitely invested in a camera, being like, okay, I want to make videos, because before that I got like a flip camera
Yeah.
for my birthday, which I think is the same camera that Mike
Yeah.
had. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Sony NEX VG20 was like a Sony Handycam. It had an interchangeable lens mount and a really nice like built-in microphone.
It was like the top tech of the day.
it was
for,
crazy
for the budget that
yeah.
Kieren could afford.
It's
back
like
then.
I think it's just like it's an E mount Super 35 Sony Handycam. It was a great camera. It was
And
like
as you know-
$3,500 at the time, and I
What?
sold it for $400. But
Really?
just
Oh.
a great camera, yeah.
So for anyone, because we get a lot of questions about like what are the best cameras to start with, like photography or like YouTube and stuff. You guys are more. Would you say you're like more into like video stuff or more photography or both?
I'd say definitely like our passions definitely lie with video.
Yeah.
But it is also one of those things where we're around video so much that photography, it almost seems at the moment for me personally a bit more of a hobby.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
I
the
get that
same.
like hobbyist passion out of it. Like for instance, also I love tech, but I also love really old tech as well. Like I love film as well as digital. So, you know, I'm really invested in all these like high end, like super spec cameras, but like I have a Nikon FE. And say what you will about Nikon digital, Nikon film cameras are absolutely fantastic.
Shout
So
out.
reliable.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. While the
Interesting.
passion's definitely more on the video side, I think, you know, photo and video, there's a very fine line between like if you do video, I'm sure you like taking photos and vice versa.
Well, with the question, how I was talking about like how we get questions asking like what's the best camera for YouTube. If there's like one camera that you could suggest to the audience of like you think, what if you were going into YouTube, what would be like the most
The one on you.
the one
I'd
that
say.
makes sense
I'd
for filmmakers, vloggers, whatever? Like what do you guys think? Just because like you guys are so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So-
No, that's completely valid. And I think at the end of the day, you have to really, like the first thing that you always have to consider is how much money you've actually got to put into this.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, like $3,500 was a huge amount of money to Kieren back then, you know, when he bought that Sony, but it was such a smart investment because it gave him something that he didn't have before, which was interchangeable lenses. It gave him a really great 5-in-1 microphone already built into the camera. So like he was investing in audio as well as video, which was like even to this day that audio was absolutely fantastic.
So what is it? 5 microphones in.
It's like a Dolby 5-in-1 microphone. But
which means it just like records in surround sound essentially.
Yeah. I'd agree with that as well with Walt. But at the same time, like I think if you want to like really do well at it, like it's great to always start on like the worst possible.
Yeah. I agree.
Just
Yeah.
like we did, like the first videos we made on YouTube were shot on our school laptop webcams. Like we just held the actual laptop.
That's so good.
But it didn't matter. We didn't care about the technology at the time.
No,
but
you just wanted to make.
just having that experience
That's
of
great.
shooting movies with your laptop webcam for like a year, and then upgrading to a flip cam was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
720p. And then upgrading to the next Sony Handycam was like, oh my goodness. So I don't think I would have like been as good as I am now if I went straight into like a Canon 80D, which would be my like recommendation for like video, photo, nice and relatively inexpensive APS-C sensor, experiment with RAW. But like, so I'd sort of have two answers to that question: Canon 80D, but also at the same time, literally whatever you have, whether that's your parents' like camera,
iPhone,
your
whatever.
iPhone.
Yeah,
like
I agree
everyone
with
has
that for
such a good
sure.
photo at the mount. But like even like in film schools, I didn't go to film school, but like a lot of the film schools, even though they have like Red cameras and ARRI cameras in house, they will start their first year students
That's what I did.
on like a Sony HD DVD camera.
It was
like a DV camera.
A PXW 140 or something.
And then they move you up to a full frame 5D, and then you might get to play on a red. But like
we didn't even have reds.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Nothing. Yeah, we had chump change.
And I'm sure it was the same with both of you. Like just taking those like steps rather than like
100%.
going straight into it is such a better like investment.
Yeah,
I also think if you have too good of a camera for your level, it's almost off-putting. It's a bit daunting. I remember when we were starting to shoot on the GH4, the Sony was such a like capable camera, that Handycam, that a lot of the time we could just leave settings on auto because, you know, like...
You know how Sony is with auto.
Exactly right. But like the camera had great autofocus, great colors. The zoom was fantastic, and we were just learning how to like really best utilize a zoom lens because that was new to us as well.
Yep.
But we jumped onto the GH4 and we had everything on auto to begin with, and the footage just looks absolutely horrible.
Really?
And, for a lot of professionals in the industry, like the GH4 is like one of the most capable like cameras on the day. Yeah, it's just like you can match it with so many cameras. It's so light, small, carry it around anywhere. But we were just getting absolutely awful video, and we're like, what's going on? And I think it was actually one of Kieren's friends that reached out and was like, oh, is this all on auto? You need to chuck everything onto manual.
Yeah, it was just noob level, like because we'd been shooting on the Sony the whole time, beautiful autofocus, a nice lens, and then we moved down to a crop sensor camera, which was still a better camera on paper. But like we left the GH4 on autofocus, first mistake, left it on auto exposure. Yeah, it's just a horrible camera to shoot in auto. And I think with film, you should always be manual anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, another point as well, which we also practice as well, is just like try before you buy. Like a lot of the time and a lot of the reasons we're starting a rental company, like for a couple of our professional shoots ever since we started, we're just like, okay, let's try and rent this $200 cinema lens. Let's try out this gear. And now we're buying some of the equipment we're trying. And that's one of the things we want to do with ShareGear. We just want to make it more accessible to everyone to just try before you buy. Because it makes such a difference. You don't need to go and splurge $6,000 instantly, but try something, use it a bit.
Before you actually buy it. Because, and I've never done that. I don't know about you. Like, have you done that before? Like, try before
I buy. As in like with camera equipment.
Because I've never done that. I'm always just like, I see people use it, or I may have seen one of my mates use it. I'm like, done. I'm just going to buy it because like I don't really second guess it. But also I was interested in, because with ShareGear, there's obviously like other competitors out there. Like what makes you guys different from those competitors? Because obviously you're younger, I'm assuming.
Yep, correct.
You know, you're starting this from like almost nothing, right? Like what makes you guys different from everyone else with the rentals?
There's many things that make ShareGear different, and a lot of them we can't say just yet until around March, April, that time. But we will say something.
Cheeky little podcast,
we just no. We just got to keep it, low key. We don't want,
But legally.
But yeah, but what we can say, like right now,
you're just like,
oh no, what do I say?
No, I'm joking.
Anything you can say? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we were even explaining to Liam, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, but like we were, to give you context, we wanted to rent an RE Alexa mini camera. So we call up a rental company in Melbourne to rent this camera. And keep in mind, we went on their website. There's no prices on the website. I can't see the availability on the website. I can't see what I can add on the website. So I'm like, all right, let's call. I call up and I'm like, oh, hello. I'm interested in a RE Alexa mini package just with a anamorphic license with a PL mount for 1 day. And he's like, can you email through a list of the parts you want? And I'm like, oh yeah, but it's just the body and the PL mount. That's all I want. And the license, because RE cameras have different licenses for different shooting applications. But just already, this was 5 minutes of conversation. In our minds, what if there was a system where you could just see availability online, see all different pricing online, maybe even verify yourself online, So there's just different factors. Like right now, if you want to rent equipment, you got to go into a store, provide 100 points of ID. You might even have to wait another day if they have to verify some of your info. It's just a bit of an arduous process. Yeah. It's not like a crazy long process, but it could definitely be improved.
Yeah.
At least in our opinion. And on top of that, what if you live in Brisbane and you want a lens?
And you guys are in Melbourne.
And we're in Melbourne. So, you know, there's more to be announced soon. But
yeah. And like at the end of the day, one thing that we haven't even touched on is like, just because of the way we're starting it up, because of like the situation we're in, we're just able to undercut by a pretty large factor that a lot of other companies, you know, can't actually do at scale, which is just a great competitive advantage that we have from the start.
Yeah. So we're lucky enough to have met some people that are actually willing to go into business with us. So ShareGear is a joint venture between Walter, myself, and 2 other people. Who we've actually known for a few years, just with our video production company. And then they saw the way we grew. We saw, like, we were always going to start a rental company. As a matter of fact, it was initially going to be called Dynamic Rentals. Yeah, we were always going to start it because we always had
Dynamic Rentals is actually registered the name under it.
I remember you guys saying that.
Yeah. But and then we just came into the opportunity to just actually take our idea a bit further, which is what we're working on at the moment.
That's good.
Yeah.
How long have we known each other now?
When was it? 2 years.
Yeah, you came to our very first office in like early 2018. Would have been like February 2018.
What was it? You had like 3 people or 4 people working in that office?
It was probably a bit more because there's Liv, Louis, Tristan, and us. Yeah.
Meg was there.
Meg was there. Yeah.
Yeah. So crazy. We had a big team in this very, very cold co-working warehouse type situation.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was talking about first office because Liam
you were. Oh man, sorry, that's my bad. No, Meg wasn't there currently.
Okay. She was towards the end a bit. Anyway,
I need to get my story straight.
Hey, you're lying to me.
Yeah, but yeah.
So when was the first time that you guys actually made a video?
For me, it was 2009.
Really?
And it was do you remember like old school YouTube like rant videos?
Like what are you talking about when you say rant?
It was like you would pick a topic and like do a rant video. So for me, my first video was my mate and I doing a rant on airplane food.
What?
So you're just talking like mad smack about airplane food.
Yeah, but we were like 9 years old, 10
really?
years old.
What did you say?
Well, I remember, I don't know. It was just like, it was pretty much just like, it wasn't like, what's the deal with airplane food? But it's like, why is airplane food? It was, I don't it sounds like video.
It sounds like a Seinfeld skit.
Yeah. But it was actually inspired by another old school YouTuber called Blood Blitz who got really like popular on these rant videos. And
really?
He'd do a rant on all these things. So when YouTube did their like big rebrand in like 2010, there was like a rant on that and then a bunch of other things. But yeah.
Wait, so you were inspired by these guys. How long did this ranting thing go for?
That was like over and done with quite quickly.
So one video?
It was like a couple, but then we started making like action videos pretty soon.
What was the response in those videos?
It was nothing. I don't think it was. Yeah, I can't remember.
Just zero comments.
Yeah, but that's not what I remember from like making YouTube videos back in the day. But
that's good.
When you asked me what my first video was, it was a rant video.
Dude, I feel like whenever we start out on like making videos and stuff, it's either something where like there's like a modern warfare kind of like vibe where you have like guns or like you do a stupid skit or something. Like when I started out making videos, my very first like sort of thing that I made was like doing this. Our school in primary school, I was like in grade 5 or grade 6 or something, and our school did like this basketball thing, and I was like, I don't want to play basketball. I'm fucking basketball. So I was just like film it and document it, whatever, put it together a video, and I showed it at assembly, and that was the first video that I made. Before that, I made animations. Like the first animation that I made, I remember was like getting like, I got this PNG of a baby off Google or something. And then I put that into the program. I made the baby do a backflip, but it wasn't like it's a PNG, so it's not animated or anything. It's just like it just flips around, and that was it. And that's where it all started. Yeah. But I think that like my point now I'm getting at is like when you're starting out on something, you don't have any expectations. You're not going to be like, oh, like today. I haven't ever made an animation or a video before, but today I'm going to make a blockbuster film. You never think that because you're just starting.
100%,
but when you make that, like, because your expectations are so low, you're just like, you will like make the conditions for you to have fun no matter what. So that's like when people make a video and like they're not told to make a video, but you just want to just because you're interested in it. That's when you can spark that initial like, oh, maybe I could do this. like maybe this is something that I could do.
See, I had a big break between the first like kind of thing I ever made, then to like go into and start doing YouTube with Kieren. I had a big break between that. I think I was in grade 2 when I was actually making, maybe it was a bit later, maybe grade 4. I started doing stick figure animations.
Oh, do you remember Pivot?
Oh,
you're
no,
kidding!
It was pre-Pivot.
Oh, pre-Pivot.
I was on
MS
MS Paint and Windows Movie Maker frame by frame.
What? On MS Paint?
MS Paint.
How did you do that? Because you don't have all right. So to the audience,
no. It was absolutely awful. So before you say how did you do that, like it was just literally like I would draw one line. I would take a screenshot. I'd put that in. I would then rub out the line and draw another line.
It was also 60 FPS.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, 120 FPS. It's like a game.
120 FPS pivot animation.
The thing that's like crazy about it is like I didn't think of posting it anywhere. I only showed like my family. It was like, it was 6 minutes long. It's like this paint animation.
How?
Like I only had like a single thing moving like at a time, because it wasn't very complex animation by any means. But also this is really funny. It was a stick figure animation, and it was like this guy just moving his arm, like shooting lasers out of his eyes, all the classic like kid animation stuff. But I called him Lube. So the title of my film was The Adventures of Lube.
What?
I was really proud of that, but in hindsight, that sounds a little bit non-PC.
Did you know what lube was back then?
No idea.
What?
No idea. So I was just like so proud, like all my parents' friends coming around. I'm like, come watch my video, The Adventures of Lube.
Oh, what did they say? What did they think?
I don't.
The Adventures of Lube.
They're like, this kid is going places. That's for sure.
No one told me. I literally only figured it out so long after. I spelled it L-O-O-B. So it's like
lube. It should be L00B.
Well,
like noob, but lube.
That's good. That's good. I might rework it. I'm gonna remastered version of my first animation coming soon.
Yeah.
Dude, if I get an Xbox and if I do the whole Xbox Live and everything, my username is just gonna be L00B. Straight up, just lube. I wonder if that's been taken. You reckon that's been taken?
If not, it's taken.
Been taken.
Wait, no. It's definitely been taken. Do you guys? Have you guys watched Big Led's show?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up before. That's exactly how he made Isaac Wright, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Frame by frame, MS Paint.
MS Paint. And what's so difficult about... Yeah, Miss Paint. Yeah. What's so difficult about MS Paint if you're animating on that? Like to the audience, animation, there's a thing in animation called onion skins. And like, how like when you peel back an onion skin, the more you peel it back, like the more transparent or the less transparent, whatever. You know what I mean?
Onions have layers, like ogres.
Yeah, they're like layers. So onion skins are pretty much like you go to the next frame, and then once you move something from the previous frame, there's like a little ghost thing that's behind it to show what happened in the previous frame.
Little trail.
Yeah, if you're animating in MS Paint, you don't have that at all. So that's what makes it like so damn difficult. Yeah.
Does
that's
Pivot
awesome.
have that? Does Pivot have it?
Yeah, it does.
I think back in the day it did.
Yeah, it does. It has
see
one.
The previous outline
I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know what program it was, but now I actually completely forgot about this. But I did animation when I was in year 7. It was with like
on Flash.
Clay? No, it was I don't know.
Like claymation.
Yeah. Claymation. It's like, and you connect a photo up to a camera up to your laptop.
Yeah.
And you take a photo and then it does that ghost thing and like
similar thing. It would have just been on some sort of like stop motion software, but that
was fun. Like that was so much fun because you could see what it had been doing before, and then you like just change it a little bit.
Did you guys ever watch Forest Fire 101, like the Lego stop motion?
No,
did you watch that?
So. The name doesn't ring a bell, but back in the day, I used to watch a lot of those. I also
if you saw any like good Lego video,
well, I saw a lot of I was really into Warhammer as well. So I watched a lot of Warhammer stop motion with Warhammer figurines.
Really?
Yeah, I used to love that. I was like
this was this morning.
Yeah. That's why I was like 5 minutes late. I was just wrapping up a video in the car outside.
Really?
No.
So
no, not really.
I'm like, really? Have you so what do you guys watch on YouTube now? Do you guys watch much YouTube?
Ooh, that's I feel like I'm constantly watching stuff, but like
only me.
It's
just 7th era.
I watch you guys. And
I was pretty cheeky little fuck.
I feel like my YouTube watching experience has changed in the past couple of years. Before I would like be the like every like person in my subscription feed, I'd watch their video. Yeah. But now I don't even touch subscriptions. I just like browse recommended and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the videos I want to see from people who I subscribe to just end up there anyway. But it's definitely changed a lot. I was thinking about that before.
Have you guys like been into vlogs that much, or is it more like the skits and stuff?
Oh no, I was like heavy into Casey Neistat.
Yeah. Dude, how good! I was watching him last night for like the first time in ages, and like.
Can I guess the video you watched?
Yeah, go.
Is it the airplane?
No.
Ah, fuck.
No.
Anyway,
it's like his most like viewed video. Anyway,
the new one.
Oh no, I haven't watched it.
You should watch it. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Do you watch him much?
Casey.
Yeah.
I found out about him on my way to New York for the first time in 2017 because my mates were like, oh, like, because this is before I started YouTube, but they were like, oh, like, we're going to go to where Casey Neistat lives. I'm like, who's Casey Neistat? Like, what is, like, it just sounded like so foreign because like I'd never heard of him before. And then I saw his video where he went snowboarding in New York. That was like the first time I found him.
Yeah.
And then I watched a bit of his daily vlogs, and now I watch him here and there because I love, like, I know you like this as well, Hayden, his roughness of his edits. Like, he just doesn't care. He's like, done, this is good enough, I'm posting it, who cares? He's not a perfectionist.
It's a very homemade vibe.
Yeah. I both love and hate his his relationship with the camera equipment he uses it.
Oh yeah, that would be tough with you guys.
Like, I really respect, like, use your camera as a tool. Like, I get that, and like at the end of the day, we've put our cameras through some pretty like rough stuff, you know, but only when it's like necessary, because at the end of the day, you're using it for a certain job. But like just watching him like get a Dremel and like just scratch into things, I'm like, oh.
Dude, he purposely like crashes his drones just because he thinks it's funny. I don't know if he does it anymore. This is back in the day, but like it is funny because no one else would do it.
Yeah.
He actually just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah. I love it. I loved when he got like a brand new piece of technology and just instantly carves like Casey Neistat, New York, 2012.
Yeah, and it's so like dodgy, like so rough.
No, it's so good though.
The style, I think that it's his style that's like so like, because he inspired me to start on YouTube. Like, if without Casey, I don't know if I would have like, well, I probably would have gone into YouTube, but I don't think that I would have like done the same kind of like, okay, I'm gonna do this and then just commit to this. So I don't even know what would happen without him actually being alive, which is actually a crazy thought to think about. But I think that what I was so inspired by was the fact that his stuff is so damn rough. And he doesn't, like, he's just the opposite of a perfectionist. He has this rule, like, and I've adopted it into my thing, is like, I was talking to you about it before, how like it's a one take mentality. So if we're like talking on camera, if you screw up, cool, accept it, embrace it, because then if you can get really good at embracing that kind of stuff, then you can just like go with the flow with whatever. And it's not even just with like talking on camera or like making videos. It's literally with anything. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to be like being a perfectionist is not good, but like, as you said, you don't want to like crash your equipment on purpose unless if you have enough money. But even so, I feel like it's a bit wasteful. Entitled? No, it's not entitlement, but it's a bit wasteful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen his HBO show? It's just like it's like his great like old school vlogs, but it's in a television format. It's really good.
See it. Yeah.
He did that with his brother, right?
Yeah, he made it with his brother.
Yeah, actually, was that actually with HBO?
Yeah. So he made this whole series with, I think, someone who was like working with him initially, and then HBO bought it off them. So they didn't make it with the intention of like they didn't make it with HBO's funding. Like they went into the offices and HBO made them an offer or something.
Oh, really?
I
didn't even
the show
know that.
to HBO.
What's it about?
It's
called the Neistat Brothers.
Yeah, it's just about like each episode they have like a task to make like things, and there's an episode where like one of the brothers like sees their long lost father. It's really good. It's a great show.
Yeah. It's so interesting.
I might have to give it a watch. Like, it's cool going back to like all the old stuff and like seeing what they used to make.
But like, he did it all as well. Like,
Yeah,
he didn't have an editor. He edited everything.
It was like him and his brother, I think. I think they had someone else working on it, but it was awesome.
Really?
It's a great show.
Because he was saying like the very first thing, like he wanted to make videos like from the start. Like once he picked up the camera, he's like, okay, I want to do this, and he had no money in his bank account, but he used every last penny that he had to buy like one of the very first Apple iMacs.
Yeah,
like it literally looks like a toilet. You know how it's like on the back.
Is it the colored one?
Yeah,
like
it's still the blue colored. Yeah, he used that to edit, and that's what he used. And then like obviously he's just like over years and stuff of just like doing his thing. He's just worked his way up to this person that he is today with like not even about the subscribers, but he's just made so many like amazing videos. But that said, what do you guys think about his burnout?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I wasn't following along with him.
Yeah, I saw it coming, to be honest. I remember watching his vlogs. It was the period when he was like showing him like staying up really, really late, and it was like showing him coming home and like his wife and kids were already asleep and stuff, and he's like, all right, get up at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's just you gotta do everything in moderation. Like having like that hustle mentality is fantastic, but you gotta like take a step back to be able to keep doing the hustle mentality.
Yeah, it's something that Hayden explained to me the other day about like the burn and then the space. Like burn is when you're like grinding, you know, you get to the office, you're like editing, smashing it all out, and you're just using that part of your brain. And then space is just like relaxing, chilling out, watching a movie or whatever you do to relax. But like you got to have a balance of that. And like I only recently figured that out. Like, I knew it, but I never really understood that. Like, you actually, like, if you've been working for a whole day straight, you can't expect to do that the next day and the day after that, like, constantly without burning out. Because like that space is going down, and then once it reaches nothing, you're burnt out, and that's when you need to give yourself more space to like recharge that up. The camera.
How you doing, camera over there?
Is the camera all good? You just hit the camera. That's all right. But so having that balance is like super important. And like, do you guys do that? Like in terms of like, how do you manage balance in your workflow? Because it's a bit different to us.
Very different, I would say.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since the beginning of when Walt and I like fully committed to like, all right, let's do this full time. I think a big thing is just like having weekends off and just doing like actual set hours compared to you guys, where I know you're pretty much working every day. Maybe not every day is like an 8-hour day, but for us, like we sort of treat dynamic visuals as like our overlord. So we have to show up for work. We have our weekends off, but still we work for ourselves. But having that structure there, I think, is where we sort of like
it really is being able to, you know, like obviously since we are running the business, there's always going to be times where like you just have to cop it, you have to stay late.
Yeah.
But it really is about like, you know, we work till 6 p.m. You know, it's like 6:15. We've finished like the final important email. Everything else can wait, and it will wait. Like go home and like recharge. Do what you need to do.
That's really good.
Yeah. And we didn't always start like that.
No.
Like when
I find it hard even to this day doing that.
Yeah. It's difficult. You just have to. And like I think it's a lot of the times it's just you're worried about what people think. You're worried about people's expectations. Like for us when we first started, we were like under the impression, or at least I was, it's like if we send an email to a client at 12 a.m. delivering a video, like that's a good thing. They were like, oh damn, look at these boys, they're hectic. They're not like our previous video production
hectic
provider.
Visuals.
But then we realized like that's just, you've got to sort of switch it up a bit. Like it's still good to, like I said before, have that hustle mentality and grind, and there are those times where you have to grind it out, but to do that, like give yourself time.
You have to have it.
You have to give yourself time.
Like for the mental health reasons, you just can't always be switched on.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I love film so much, but the times where like you question yourself is after you've just done like your third night of like a 16-hour day. You know, you spend an hour going home and coming back the next day. You're getting like, you know, 5 hours of sleep at the end of it, and you're doing that just on repeat, and you're like,
so bad.
You're like why am I doing this? You know?
Yeah.
And it's literally nothing out of losing passion for it. Like I still enjoy like what I'm doing in those 16-hour days. It's just like you're tired.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your brain's just like almost mush and you can't think? Because I experienced that the other day. I actually did a video about it. That was my most recent vlog. It was like I was just asking like Hayden, my dad, like my mates, what do you do like when you're feeling burnt out or like not creative? Because it's like, it's hard because like you feel like, oh, I want to create, but your brain is just like, boom, like you can't do anything. That is
exactly how I feel right now.
Really?
Yeah, Hayden's gone through a bit of that now.
Oh no, it's like, this morning, like I was making my vlog and stuff, and like, I was just like doing my thing. I was having fun with it, but then like I got like what happened was at the end of it, like I realized that the whole like last clip was out of focus, and that was like 5 minutes of me talking, whatever. I was like, okay, it's all right, I'll just do it again, but that gets rid of that whole rule that I had, which is the one take mentality. But you also can't have a fully blurry video where people just wouldn't watch it. So I redid it, and then redoing it the second time makes it inauthentic. So that made me frustrated, and that frustration like added me like to I can't even speak properly. It added to my like frustration, and that just kept building up.
Snowballed.
What do you call it, bro? The negative.
Oh yeah, the negative feedback from hell.
Yeah.
Feedback loop from hell, and it's just like it keeps going over and over, and it's like you keep saying like, why am I frustrated? And then you get frustrated about being frustrated. Why am I thinking about getting frustrated about being frustrated? For fuck's sake! And then you just like get more and more.
And that's a frustrating thought.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is, then like when you realize that you're in that loop, that's when you say, okay, it's all right. And then just like actually like be compassionate towards it and be embracing, be like, okay, well, you know what? Like I'm frustrated. Like that's a human emotion. I'm not going to like suppress that. I'm not going to be like, I don't give a fuck that I'm like feeling this way. Just like embrace it. Like, because the only way, and this is getting, I'm not going to get too deep because I don't want to be like super motivational today, but
just today though.
Yeah, just today.
Catch me tomorrow.
Yeah, catch me tomorrow. Fuck. What happens is if you're resisting something, that's what creates pain. But like the opposite of resisting is embracing. So if you embrace something, then you're not going to create pain. You're going to be absolutely like fine with it. And you might not be absolutely fine with it because it's like, it's very difficult to do. But yeah, no, I think it's just about being kind with yourself and allowing yourself to have that time to recharge.
Yeah, not beating yourself up.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Think about the long term. Think like, okay, is me re-recording this actually like that bad in like 5 years? Is it going to matter? No, like just sort of chill out. Like what do you guys do when you're feeling like you have a creative block or like you're not, like you're really not wanting to work because you're just like dead? Like what do you guys do?
Yeah, honestly, we're probably in the position where we can just like call it close a business. Yeah. We'll probably just go home, and that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just about spending time with the people that are really supportive.
That's great.
Because there have been moments where like Kieren and I have come into the office and like, you know, a whole bunch of shit's going on, you know, without going into those stories.
Yeah.
But we just get in and we do what's important, you know, we do our part and we just look at the rest of it and we're like, just not today. Yeah. Like, just let's go home. We can talk about this tomorrow. Just go home, do what you have to do to be better for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good.
It's always better tackling the next day just with a clear head.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky because not all businesses have this same sort of development. I mean, but I just think also like Kieren and I are very forgiving for one another. So it's like, because, you know, we're not always frustrated about the same things at the same time. Sometimes one of us needs more time, you know, than the others. Yeah, it's just about being forgiving.
Yeah.
Because that's how you kind of work past it. You have to be okay with things.
I think that there's I think what I struggle with sometimes is whether to take a break and just allow myself to recharge versus like, because I also value perseverance and pushing through stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you draw that line? Like, how do you figure out, okay, like I'm feeling shit because I'm burnt out, or I'm feeling shit because I'm beating myself up about it and I'm just going to push through this? Because a lot of the times, like I do push through it and I get through to the other side and then I get back into the flow of things. Yeah. But then there's other times where I just keep trying to push through and I just make myself feel worse.
Yeah. See, well, this is kind of what I was saying, like just before. I think for us at least, it's about kind of understanding your priorities and understanding like what actually needs to be done versus what can wait and what can be put off. A lot of the times where we're just super tired and we're like, you know, burnt out, it's just weighing up as like, is going home early better or worse than sending out this email? Is it better or worse than editing this video? And it's just weighing it up. And a lot of the times, even though there's been deadlines, we've pushed them back to take time off. well, if things aren't as bad, you know, you go in for 3 hours and you get what you need to get done, and you get it done quickly, and then you can take that time off. Yeah. It's just about really like prioritizing like what you honestly think and being honest with yourself, what you honestly think needs to be done now.
And that takes courage as well, because like, especially today, like we're always like, especially on social media and stuff, like only the extraordinary is really broadcasted. So like that, we're always told to hustle and work more, be more, do more, and all this. And then that kind of like part of you, like listening to that makes you want to like keep going. So like pushing against that is, it takes courage, because like you're listening to yourself rather than the expectations and opinions of other people, like you were talking about.
I think it just comes down to just, you got to do it for yourself. If you like, you 100%. Know what's best for you at the end of the day.
Yeah, you got to trust your gut.
Yeah, trust your gut.
Trusting your gut's like the best thing. Like, you know, when you're in those situations, there's so many. It doesn't even have to be about being creative. It can be like, the first thing that comes to my head is, say you've been out like a night out, and there's some guy who's like, one of your mates has had a couple of drinks, and he's like, oh, do you want to lift home? Like that gut feeling of like, no, I shouldn't do this. You should listen to that.
Yeah, like that's a good example.
You can bring that into like heaps of other scenarios. Like just trusting your gut.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like with running a video production company, we've had like the world offered to us like a few times.
Yeah, and so like, many gut moments.
Yeah,
Walt calls it juju. Like there's either good juju or bad juju, and we've had times where we've predicted both good and bad juju.
Yeah. Why is it called juju?
I don't know.
Mountain Dew.
I don't know.
Non-sponsored.
Just like bad vibes.
It's just it's literally just bad vibes and bad energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I'm not overly spiritual, but there's one thing that I like always trust, and it's that gut feeling, but I just call it the energy that I'm feeling from it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're speaking to clients and everything seems like really good, like, but I just feel something and I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's coming from. And I'm like,
it's like mannerisms, tone, like you can just tell, like, just to put a bit of context, for example, Walt and I very early on, when we were just first starting to be like, oh, damn, we got a couple clients. We were offered a 2-week trip to New Zealand to do some work for a client. But all the money had to be fronted by us. We weren't being paid for it. We were just expenses covered, but after the fact. But then on top of that, if this like mock trial went well for this 2 weeks, they would hire us both for, 6 months.
It was $70,000 for a half year.
Yeah, $70,000 for 2 people for a half year of work. And at the time, we were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is it. We have made it.
$70,000.
We were just already planning retirement.
We were
we wanted to like settle down, buy our like vacation home. So it was like, this was the dream. And it was for like a client that does like pretty cool content. So we're like, oh, this is so.
The client, they wanted us to make this video series to rival Red Bull. Like, legit.
Here we
That's
go.
what they said. But anyway, the whole time, Walt was like, oh, there's something fishy about this. And there was. If any time anyone's sending you to do something, although it's like glamorous, they're sending you on a trip overseas for free, like you just got to know your worth a bit.
Yeah.
So we said no to that trip, and
Thank God.
we dodged a bullet.
What was going to be the thing that was actually going to bring you guys down?
So what do you mean?
Like, as in, like, what was the bad thing about it?
Well, there was two things. It was like, we like quickly realized after turning it down that we actually had a good thing going, and we weren't actually going to be losing money if we didn't take this client. We just liked it. It was so glamorous because it was confirmed money. Yeah. Because back then it was a lot harder to kind of judge how much is coming in and out. And just seeing like an actual figure at an actual date, we were like, that's crazy. Yeah. But we realized, like, especially with how much we've grown, like that doesn't really support a team. That doesn't support like a space. It doesn't support much at all. You have to kind of be a bit more ambitious. And we grew a lot, past that. But secondly, the other thing that was kind of the downfall was just the attitude of the people we're working with.
Yeah.
After
saying terms like "you'll never see money as big as this again."
Yeah,
like things legit. It's like, don't you want to stop making videos for schools? To give a bit of context, we do a lot of educational work, which we like doing. It's good videos, but like it was just, and that was another thing that added to the bad juju. And I'm not saying for people out there, like if you're just working a part-time job or doing something and you get this offer, take it. It's an incredible offer. It's something called a loss leader in business. You don't always have to make money. But for us, we actually had a good thing going. DV was starting to pick up. And that's why we said no. And it's very lucky we did, because if we said yes, we would have been.
But like just the way they reacted too is like when we said no, I remember just walking down the street and I get a call and I'm like, oh God, here we go. And literally I was out and I was meeting up with a couple friends and I just got berated for about 15 minutes of this guy just abusing me on the phone. You know, I was 17 at the time, 18.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you would have been 17.
Yeah, 17 at the time. And this, you know, middle-aged man is actually just ripping into me over the phone.
Like swearing at this kid, like, how dare you be so ungrateful? Like, you know, this is an incredible opportunity for you guys. Still an incredible opportunity, but we had other good opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's just, we don't want to work with people like that. Yeah. All they wanted us was for cheap labor.
And I think it just comes down to your values, man. Like, do you value working with someone that like is good for you in the future, or working with someone that, man, maybe they give you 70 grand, but they're shit to work with. Yeah. Like, I would much rather choose people that I want to hang out with and like people that like could possibly lead to other good people in the future. And that's not to say that these people might not have led to other people, but if it's your gut feeling, like it's not all about money, obviously.
It's not, But that was just, and we've had many experiences like that. There's one of many. We just call them like the sagas, and we usually like have them in big email chains, because like this was such a saga. Like for a week of when this was happening, I was like waking up in the morning, going to the bathroom, have a quick munt, like throw up, and then I'm like, all right, let's sit in front of the computer like this and just wait for their email. Let's see what they're gonna say.
Did you actually throw up?
Yeah, like every day.
What? Oh my God!
I was just so anxious, so nervous. I like, we've grown so much past this now, but this was like
character
the first
building.
time anyone had even really had we've had heaps of negative business experiences, but this really was next level. This was like people swearing to you if you didn't say this. It's like, what a big opportunity. So I was just going through such this like crazy time, and at the end of it, I'm just like, this isn't good. Like,
it was just like because of that also lack of experience at the time that we fell into that.
It was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like right now, if I would have seen that, I would have just handled the situation so much differently. I would have like presented myself in a way of less being like immediately grateful and being, you know, more about, oh yeah, you're going to give me this much money. That's great. Let's figure out how we can make this work professionally, you know, kind of remove it away from them having such a power complex over these two kids that were just like stumbled upon a fortune essentially.
Yeah, it's like you sort of respond with logic as opposed to emotion, because that's happened to us like plenty of times. And I feel like the more times you encountered these sagas, the better you get at like detecting whether they're going to be good or not. Because like say for example, like even like for anyone listening, because I know it's easy to fall into this trap of a brand reaching out to you when you're like sort of growing, and then they say, yeah, we're going to fly you over somewhere and we're going to pay for like your accommodation, and then they want shit for that. And then when you think about it at first, you're like, fuck yeah, I get to go there for free. But when you logically think about it, you're like, hang on, who's going to pay for food, Ubers, like all the other expenses?
Your day rate, like what money are you potentially losing out?
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, it's not all about money, but you do need to make a living. Yeah. And photography and film isn't an easy industry to make like consistent money.
It's very hard. Yeah. I think it's like it's one of the most competitive industries. Like depending on what you do, especially with like if you're doing freelance work or something, for you to like make it for you.
All
right, inside joke.
Do you want to explain that inside joke in 10 seconds?
Yeah, okay. All right, 10 seconds. All right, pretty much, you know the Dark Knight Rises, Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. He's like, like the starting scene. He's like, for you.
And every time you say for you, I just think of you saying for you.
Yeah, no, the guy that he's like about to like bash or whatever. He's like, you're a big guy, and he's like,
for you.
Anyway, that's the joke. What was I talking about?
We're talking about. I wish I could retract the brain.
You're pretty much guys.
We're talking about just bad experiences, competitive industry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it is a very. I think that like being an artist, that you got like two problems, like being an art. Maybe two problems. I don't know. You got problems being an artist. This problem is like
the first problem. Which camera do I buy?
Yeah, the only problem.
The only problem.
For fuck's sake. No, the first problem is like as an artist, whether you're a filmmaker or a painter or whatever, is that you have this like actual desire to create no matter what. And that won't go away. You will always, that's just like in your DNA. Everyone's different, obviously, and some people have it stronger than others. But like there's those people that are like more on the, is it the right side of the brain or the left side? The more logic people, the more people that are like towards numbers and stuff, they're very much like not in the artistic side. It's an art in itself, but you know what I mean? Like when I say art stuff.
Yeah, I do.
You have this desire to create, but the thing is monetizing that is so freaking hard. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Even doing YouTube now, like I'm so on the art side, and I've been doing it for the longest time. I haven't asked for anything in return from my audience. I haven't like put anything out there for me to like make money and stuff. But that's my decision because I'm not logic minded as much. But I want to like try and like work that part of my mind so that I can like. That's one of my goals for this year is to be more financially like independent and stuff.
Yeah,
but
good on you.
It's good.
Yeah, that's great. It's something that we've definitely developed more.
Yeah.
Over the like years we've been running a business. Like we came into it with literally no idea of how to even pay tax.
Yeah.
Which is something that so many people face because nobody teaches you.
I still don't know how to.
Yeah, like the classic gag of like GST and tax. Is that the same thing? Like, do we even have to pay tax? I thought I'm 18 years old. Why do I have to pay tax? I'm 18.
Yeah.
I'm not 21.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like our passion shifted a bit. Like we still love filmmaking, but growing a business, the passion shifted towards, entrepreneurship, growing a business, even just like communicating with people about a service and things like that.
I also think like growing a business and, not trying to build a very traditional kind of business, you get creative with the way that you're trying to start it up.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I really love about like what we're trying to do with ShareGear is just like, we've seen issues with the way it currently works. We love camera equipment. Like, let's figure out a way to make this work for everybody. And it's just been so much fun. Like, just literally even just sitting and talking about all these ideas. We've got, our business plan that goes forever, to be honest. It just literally doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's an accountant in the world that's also a painter?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. They just have like their two like different
Do you reckon?
sides. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I reckon Wilbur paints. Shout out to Wilbur.
Yeah, shout out Wilbur.
What a legend. Yeah, bit of,
to give you an idea, it's like I do a lot of film, but at school I did, physics, methods, chemistry,
say
bio, math, crack,
Physics,
weed,
math.
speed. Oh man, I'm so fried.
Yeah. Wait, was that in school or now? Have you done math right now? I think you're on math. Yeah. Anyway,
I've lost myself. No, but anyway, what I'm saying is I did very very like logical, math, science subjects, and like you can work both sides of your brain. You definitely can, and I encourage it. I think it is like the best thing in the world if you can like stay on top of the amount of money coming into your account whilst also like getting to create the most awesome thing that you ever can. Like, like think
100%.
like, how creative is putting like Mentos and Coke? That's
that was our most recent shoot.
That's
that we
not
did.
logical at all. But anyway,
if I put one Mentos in, that's $1.
30% of the frontal logical cortex.
Yeah.
The Mentos and Coke shoot we did, that was like probably one of the most creative shoots we've
I don't
done.
think it was very creative.
Really?
I thought it was
More,
fucking
not creative.
not creative.
Very, very wacky and stupid and silly.
Wacky
but like,
inflatable arm,
random,
flailing
But
tube,
like,
man.
Family Guy, nice.
But they're good. Like, I love getting like super creative with it because it reminds me of like when I first started. Because when I first started photography, like I would do weird shit. Like it was a room similar to this, just like a room, like a basement sort of room. Like I remember the first time I figured out what a long exposure was. And it's like changed everything. I got a glass, filled it up with water, put it on the table, and I got like a little torch. I did a 10-second exposure at F10. I remember this.
F10. Shout out to F10.
F10.
Nice and sharp. Everything in focus.
And I waved it around. I'm like, holy shit. This is sick. But like, the point is, like, I remember when you guys were first starting, I met you guys, like, when I met you 2 years ago, you were telling me about these COD videos, Call of Duty videos that you guys made.
Shout out real life COD video.
Yeah. You want to explain to everyone about these videos? Because I had actually watched these Call of Duty videos before I met you.
Yeah, we came into a bit of 11-year-old fame back in the day. So we made I first made so there's a trilogy of if anyone's played the game Call of Duty Zombies, I'm surely 80% of the people watching this have at least played a game of Call of Duty Zombies. So my neighbor Rod, who's actually good friends with Mike, Northborders, who's just crazy. Didn't realize this connection.
Small world.
Yeah, small world. But when the first GoPro Hero came out, we made a real life Call of Duty Zombies video. So it was like first person, you know.
Was it inspired by Freddie W?
It was inspired by Freddie W's future first person shooter video, which came out in late 2010. And he really pioneered the idea of like, damn, GoPro and gun videos. You can make it just like a first person shooter. So when Black Ops 1 came out, we made the first COD Zombies video on my old YouTube channel, which was called KBW Studios. And that's now in like 7 or 8 million views. And then when Black Ops,
dude, have you not seen them?
Yeah.
I think that I might have seen. I didn't realize that it was like.
They're the ones.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They are the ones that you would have seen.
So that video bought me my Sony NEX VG20.
How much did you make off that one video? Because
from that one video, I think it was about 10 grand. I think.
What? Yeah. How did you monetize it like that?
Well, that was before YouTube.
This was YouTube 2011, Hayden. This was the Garden of Eden YouTube.
That is
so like I remember
unreal.
a million views got like 2.5 thousand USD back in the day.
Dude, now it's like literally you get like, because one of my videos got like 3 million views.
Yeah,
I think I got like,
it's so different.
2 grand Australian, maybe, or not even like 1.7.
That's pretty good. But this was gun videos, 11-year-olds covered in blood, swear words. Like this was pre like any monetization guidelines. This was when you could just upload something and it gets monetized. It even had like legitimate copyright music in the video. It still does, and I'm pretty sure it's still monetized.
So good.
Really?
But that's just like the YouTube landscape has changed so much. Back then you could, since it was relatively new, like 1 million views was such a big deal in 2011. And that was validated by how much you made from AdSense.
8 million views on that video. That was like front page YouTube kind of trending level stuff.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Did you guys put much effort into the thumbnail?
For that one, no, because when I uploaded that video, it was just the YouTube automated thumbnail. I couldn't do a custom thumbnail, and I was just lucky enough. Yeah, I was lucky enough that the very first thumbnail of that video was just like a nice, good, clean, fake AK-47 with like a zombie just about to run.
Wow.
So it worked quite well.
Yeah, that's so funny because my first video that went viral was the 10 camera hacks video.
Yeah, I remember that.
You just like look at the thumbnail and like I looked at the thumbnail. I was like, "That's a pretty good thumbnail." I didn't think it would go viral. It was a viral attempt.
Yeah.
Like I attempted it. Like because before
Hayden Pedersen's Watch Mojo.
Yeah.
Top 10 camera tricks and tips.
This week on Watch Mojo.
Oh, I hate
Put
that
the camera up to the wall.
Yeah.
Get that
rewind time.
Yeah, it's retime one.
It's
retime one.
Retime one. Anyway, so what were you gonna say?
I can't even remember. Anyway, I looked at the thumbnail. I was like, yeah, it's a pretty good thumbnail. But then I made the title. I was like, yeah, pretty good title. But I didn't think it would go viral because nothing, like at this point, I was at probably, I think like 1K subscribers. And most of my stuff was getting probably like maybe 600, 700 views.
Yeah, it's pretty good engagement, to be honest.
Yeah.
1K subs and like 700.
Yeah, but then sometimes some of them would get like 300 views and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like, whatever. Anyway, when I posted that, like I just saw like, it was like within like 2 or 3 days or something, it was like 1,000 views. I refreshed it. I would never do this now because I don't care about it that much. But this was so exciting for me at the time. I refreshed it, 1,000 views to 2,000 views, refreshed it again, 10,000 views.
What, right then and there?
Literally like probably like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I remember coming home from school with my mate Harry in year 7.
Shout out Harry.
Yeah, shout out Harry Burmeister, very talented film photographer. But I came home and like the video had been out for like a week and it was on like 400 views, which was insane for my channel because I had like 10 subs and I was like, 400. So Rod and I were literally like celebrating every night. Anyway, and then it came home and it was on like 46,000. I'm just like, oh my God, it's happening.
Nice.
It's happening. My paradigm is shifting.
That was good juju. I imagine when you go home, that was good juju.
That was insane.
That would have felt
like,
good. Yeah.
When I played Xbox, like my gamer tag was recognized. Like the year 11s would come up to be in school and like say, "Oh, don't video, man," because my brother was in school and all his friends watched it. It was crazy.
You would have felt like a clout king.
It was a clout king. 2011 was like my peak. It's amazing.
No, you're just like
all downhill.
Yeah,
all downhill.
Yeah. We just hit 1 hour. I think we should sort of wrap it up.
Only
here.
3 more to go.
I was gonna say we got
3 more hours to go.
Intermission. This is a 4-hour podcast. No, I'm joking.
Joe Rogan style.
I was gonna say to wrap it up is like what's coming for you guys in the future. Like what do you got planned? Like obviously you got ShareGear. Like what's happening?
So we have a launch of our new Australia's newest and best rental company, ShareGear, around March to April 2020.
Yep.
And then we're also keen to just start doing a bit more creative projects as well.
Awesome.
You know what's cool, like with you guys as well, is you guys remind me of us as well. Like you guys like do the ShareGear, like you do the whole gear thing, whatever. But you guys like making videos with us as well, and just being creative and stuff as well. And that's what I think is cool. Like I wouldn't be as like with our videos and stuff, like when you guys are on our channels and stuff, like I like to push your stuff a little bit.
Legend.
But like if you guys were just doing the gear stuff and you guys weren't a part of our videos, it would be very much like a forced thing.
Yeah.
But now, like because you guys are like mates, like we're all mates, like it's a natural thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like when Walt and I met Liam and Mike, we were like, oh my goodness, there's other people.
There are others.
It was also like for me, because like we'd obviously been making YouTube videos for so long. I was like, man, holy shit, they're just doing it. Yeah. They're actually just doing it. And like, I'm not saying we didn't just do it. We did it for a long time. But it's like just seeing someone like same age as us, we've gone down a very different route, and like watching you guys like just like fully send it into, YouTube. I was like, fuck, man, that is like so sick.
Yeah, you just gotta send it.
Like I love YouTube
but
videos. I love creating videos.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Before Liam and Mike, because I think you were doing YouTube, but before they even started YouTube, I was so amazed at just like these 2 like 19-year-old kids who just went out into the city every day to take photos. And I'm like, this is a hustle. This is legit. This is what I like to see.
Yeah. And it's not easy, but like I don't think it's supposed to be easy. I think it's supposed to be meaningful. I think that like you wouldn't value it if it was easy.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that when people get these expectations that it's like, it's creating, it should be like lighthearted and like fun and stuff all the time, then you're entitled and you're gonna burn out.
They say it's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, as cliche as that is, it actually is.
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, as our friend Tristan once said, you are the person of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
I 100% agree with that, and I tell that to people as well.
Yeah.
Like you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. Like even like I was having a conversation with my mate's dad the other day, and he's like, if I wanna like see what kind of person you are, Liam, I'm gonna look at your mates because they're gonna tell me very quickly whether you're being like real or like fake to me right now.
100%.
But yeah, without getting into that topic and spending another hour, it was good talking to you boys.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us on.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. Where can people find you guys on socials?
At Kieren BW.
At Walt Mather.
And then at ShareGear.
And at Dynamic Visual.
And you have to follow those 4 accounts.
If you don't,
not just one of them. If you're not,
if you don't follow them, you get bad luck for 10 years.
You either do 4 or you do none.
Yeah, exactly. All right, boys.
That'd be great.
Thanks so much, guys.
Before we wrap it up, also like, so you guys can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, I already said Apple Podcast.
Google Play.
You guys finish.
Google, Google, whatever the Google.
Yeah, literally literally
all of them.
All the platforms you can find us there. Leave us a rating if you did like this one. That'd be appreciated so then more people can see this podcast. If you're watching from YouTube, leave a like. Help us out by hitting subscribe.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you later. Ciao.
Catch us.
Nice, Gary.